was suddenly reminded of an anecdote some 2,500 years ago. Socrates, many of you must have heard of Socrates, right? The great philosopher. He had a disciple. Socrates was in the habit of this Socratic dialogue. Instead of lecturing, he was involved in an interaction, a discussion, a dialogue all the time. And through that, they explored many themes and learned many things. One of his disciples one day stood up and said, "Master, for 20 years, I did not for once stand up and ask you a question or participate in the dialogue. Was it right or was it wrong that I kept my mouth shut all the time?" The great philosopher that he was, Socrates said, "If you are a wise man, then you are a fool. But if you are a fool, then you are a wise man." It took me also some time to decipher the meaning. What he meant was, if you are a wise man and if your words have consequence to other people's lives and thoughts, then you are a fool in having concealed your wisdom by keeping your mouth shut. But if you're a fool anyway, and if what you say is of no consequence to other people, then you are a wise man in having concealed your ignorance. Now, I would like to conceal my ignorance as much as possible. And today, I requested Sheetal and Viral and other friends to make this more an interactive one rather than a very formal monologue. So I'll only make a few very brief points. And then, after we finish hearing the other two friends, we can hopefully have some interaction where there's a real dialogue. Before coming here, Viral and I were discussing whether you realize how privileged you are in two senses. In one sense that in a country with a vast and teeming population of young people, very few get the opportunity to explore, to interact, to have fun, to stimulate each other intellectually, and to have the opportunity to make a difference. The second thing that we take for granted is the enormous diversity of India. In this very group, even in these few minutes or hours that you're here, you would have found there's a rich diversity. People from the north and the south and the east and the west, all kinds of languages and faiths, all kinds of beliefs and traditions, all kinds of habits and hobbies, that we actually coexist as a nation. Outside of India, it's unthinkable that so many languages can actually coexist. You take Belgium, a very tiny country. It has two languages, the Flemish people who speak the Dutch language and the French-speaking people. A very tiny country, much smaller than most of our states. And yet, because of two languages in one country, they're not able to accommodate them. For the past 1 year, they were fighting as to how to form a government at the national level. Take Canada, a great country, a very wealthy country. Just one language other than English in the province of Quebec. Every few years, there is a potential disaster. There's a referendum to break up, to secede. Take Pakistan. Pakistan was fragmented into two in 1971-72, essentially because of language. Despite sharing the same religion, they had two different languages, and the country could not survive. Take our southern neighbor, Sri Lanka. Apart from Sinhala, just one more language, Tamil. They did not know how to deal with that, and there was strife for 30 years. An untold suffering. Take erstwhile Yugoslavia. I don't even remember how many fragments it broke into today. Only a very experienced and wise man like Mr. Mathur can tell us about the history of the slave people. It's astounding that there are 18 plus languages in this country, and the second largest language has only about 8 or 9% of the population of this country. And the first language actually is not even one language. It's welded into one language only in the recent past, relatively speaking. It's really a combination of Bhojpuri, Awadhi, Braj Bhasha, and so on and so forth. And each of these languages has a great culture, tremendous history, wonderful literature, an enormous pride in its past, in its tradition and civilization. And yet, we all coexist. Because most of us speak either Hindi or English, we tend to take it for granted that all Indians can actually communicate with each other. It's not true. Or take religion. Every major religion in the world found place in India from the very early ages. Take the Jewish people. They came to India 2,600 years ago. They've been living in this country since then, in peace, at peace. Take Christianity. It came to India within 50 or 60 years after Jesus Christ. St. Thomas, he landed on the Malabar coast. Since then, for 2,000 years, we had the unbroken tradition of the Syrian Christians. Take Islam. Many of you probably are taught in your school books that Islam came to India in 1191, or it came to India in 1026 with the Somnath temple's destruction with Muhammad Ghazni. But actually the first Islam came to India in 712 AD, just 90 years after Prophet Muhammad made that historic journey from Mecca to Medina, the date from which the Islamic calendar began. And Islam did not come here for religious purposes. Islam came for trade purposes, because the caliph at the time of, I think, Umayyad dynasty, he discovered that the then king of Sindh, a fellow called Dahir, was not able to control the pirates in the Arabian Sea, and therefore the flourishing trade with the Arab countries was affected. So he instructed one of his commanders to go and set the things right. And a young, I think 16 or 18-year-old fellow, Qasim, he came to Sindh and he took over the kingdom of Sindh for the sake of trade. And 480 years later, Muhammad Bukhari came to actually conquer India. And of course, our indigenous religions, so this Buddhism or Jainism, and this timeless Hinduism and Sikhism. Every major faith has been here since its inception. And probably there's no other civilization where they coexisted. There was syncretism, there was synthesis, there was no conflict, minimal conflict. This is a land of unmatched diversity in human history. Celebrate that. Preserve that. Nurture it. Protect it. And above all, take pride in that. Do not ever take it for granted. Just because we are born into it, because we take it for granted.